morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. You all much welcome on this platform. It's good to have you here today as our guests, as our participants, as we look into the observation of this International Day of Climate Action. So now that an overview of protocols, the Zoom protocols has already been shared by Noella, I'll go straight and give some small introduction on this particular day, why we are here, what are we really doing here. And I really want to appreciate everybody, all the wonderful women who have set aside this time to come and let us share the experience together and discuss what we know and what we think about Climate Action Day. So the International Day of Climate Action is a global day of awareness, and it's a day that is observed annually on October 25th to highlight the urgent need for collective efforts to combat climate change and promote environment sustainability. This is a day that features activities like cleanup. I want to believe that most of us maybe have been engaged in these activities in one way or the other. Some people will choose to do campaigns, some will do educational events and rallies, and some will just encourage other individuals and businesses and governments to reduce emissions and adapt sustainable practices and advocate for climate-friendly policies. We are going to have three main speakers today, and one of them is Kathleen Delgado, who comes from Lima, Peru. Kathleen is a director of God's organization. She's also a lawyer, and she's an environmental researcher. She's a specialist in ecological and climate change. She has also published a number of publications on environmental law, sustainable development, and circular economy in Peru and abroad. So she's one person who is very experienced and vast in the climate change issues, and we will hear from her. We also have Marilyn Aitken. Marilyn has great experience in combating climate change with integrated groups in South Africa. She's also one of the coordinators in a network of the Grail International called Earth Network. And she's also published a book called Mthonjini on climate change, a book that can be used by several people all over the world. And then we have Caroline, who is practically engaged into combating climate change with her community. She engages in a number of activities like agroecology. She's educating and teaching her community practically on how to combat climate change. And so we are going to have these three speakers with us today, and we are glad to have you, Kathleen, Marilyn, and Caroline. And maybe before we bring them in, I'm going to call upon T-Rose to share with us a video, and then from there we will know what will happen. You're most welcome, T-Rose.
Dear future generations, I think I speak for the rest of us when I say, sorry. Sorry we left you with our mess of a planet. Sorry that we were too caught up in our own doings to do something. Sorry we listened to people who made excuses to do nothing. I hope you forgive us. We just didn't realize how special the earth was. Like a marriage gone wrong, we didn't know what we had until it was gone. For example, I'm guessing you probably know it as the Amazon desert, right? Well, believe it or not, it was once called the Amazon rainforest, and there were billions of trees there, all of them gorgeous. And oh, you don't know much about trees, do you? Well, let me tell you, trees are amazing. I mean, we literally breathe the air they are creating. They clean up our pollution, our carbon. They store and purify water, give us medicine that cures our diseases, food that feeds us, which is why I'm so sorry to tell you that we burn them down. Cut them down with brutal machines, horrific, at a rate of 40 football fields every minute. That's 50% of all the trees in the world gone in the last 100 years. Why? For this. And that wouldn't make me so sad if it weren't so many pictures of leaves on it. You know, when I was a child, I read how the Native Americans had such consideration for the planet that they felt responsible for how they left the land for the next 7 generations. Which brings me great sorrow, because most of us today don't even care about tomorrow. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we put profit above people, greed above need, the rule of gold above the golden rule. I'm sorry we use nature as a credit card with no spending limit, overdrafting animals to extinction, stealing your chance to ever see their uniqueness or become friends with them. Sorry we poison the ocean so much that you can't even swim in them. But most of all, I'm sorry about our mindset, because we had the nerve to call this destruction progress. Hey, Fox News, if you don't think climate change is a threat, I dare you to interview the thousands of homeless people in Bangladesh. See, while you were in your penthouse nestled, their homes were literally washed away beneath their feet due to rising sea levels. And Sarah Palin, you said that you love the smell of fossil fuels. Well, I urge you to talk to the kids of Beijing who are forced to wear pollution masks just to go to school. See, you can ignore this, but the thing about truth is, it can be denied, not avoided. So I'm sorry, future generations. I'm sorry that our footprint became a sinkhole and not a garden. I'm sorry that we paid so much attention to ISIS and very little to how fast the ice is melting in the Arctic. I'm sorry we doomed you, and I'm sorry we couldn't find another planet in time to move to. You know what? Cut the beat. I'm not sorry. This future, I do not accept it. Because an error does not become a mistake until you refuse to correct it. We can redirect this. How? Let me suggest that if a farmer sees a tree that is unhealthy, they don't look at the branches to diagnose it, they look at the root. So like that farmer, we must look at the root and not to the branches of government, not to the politicians run by corporations. We are the root, we are the foundation. This generation, it is up to us to take care of this planet. It is our only home. We must globally warm our hearts and change the climate of our souls and realize that we are not apart from nature, we are a part of nature. And to betray nature is to betray us. To save nature is to save us. Because whatever you're fighting for, racism or poverty, feminism, gay rights, or any type of equality, it won't matter in the least. Because if we don't all work together to save the environment, we will be equally extinct. Sorry.
Thank you, T-Rose. So we can have some 15 seconds silence, and then after there, Viana or T-Rose will read the short intro to the prayer.
You may close your eyes if you like. Go into your heart and center there easefully. Follow your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. As you inhale and as you exhale. Focus your mind on your gratitude for the earthly paradise which the Creator has given us. With awareness that the flame of God dwells within you. Let a fervent desire take root in your heart for a world fueled by the sun, by the wind, and by waves. Exhale this powerful intention with each breath as we listen to these words.
Thank you, Viana. Welcome, sisters from around the world. Please join me for a moment while we gather in this space. Creator of life, source of all that is green and growing, we gather in gratitude for the earth, for the sunlit flowers that brighten our gardens, for the air that fills our lungs, for the waters that flow with promise and song. We confess that we have taken more than we have given. The forests have been felled, waters polluted, and the balance of seasons have been unsettled. Forgive us for the harm we have caused to the creatures, to one another, to our common home. Grant us the courage to be healers and protectors, to honor every living thing with mindful care. Open our hearts to wisdom of the land and the resilience of flowers that endure the wind and drought. May we learn from the earth's persistence to be vibrant, steadfast, and rooted in hope. Bless our efforts, great and small, from planting seeds to policy change, from teaching others to learning together. Guide us as we act justly, love creation deeply, and walk gently as partners in renewal. Let our gardens, our communities, our choices be a song of praise, a sign of our commitment to climate action and the flourishing of all life. With gratitude and hope, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Amy. We'll just have a minute before we move. I will invite shortly Caroline and Marilyn to now speak. Caroline from Zimbabwe and Marilyn from South Africa.
Thank you. We're going to ask Luke to lead us into the section that Caroline and I are going to present. Luke, over to you.
Okay. Thank you. The chorus is, our God hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be our God. Our God hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be our God. Let the lowly hear and be glad. Our God listens to their plea, and to hearts broken God is near. For God hears the cry of the poor.
Thank you very much, Luke. Yes, God's prophets began crying out 70 years ago. 3 women were among them. Rachel Carsons, who warned about the highly toxic herbicide and pesticides in American agriculture. Barbara Ward from the Club of Rome, who in the 70s was warning that the planet had already reached the limits of growth. And Gro Brundtland, who was the leader of a commission that wrote the report, Our Common Future. And in that report, It was about sustainable development. They highlighted the fact that future generations must be an integral part of any sustainable development. The UN Environment Programme heard their cries and called the Earth Summit in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. The UN Framework Convention on Climate Change was born during that conference, when the parts per million were 356 parts per million already. And they had passed the danger point of 350 parts per million. 197 UN nation states, called parties, have signed the Climate Change Convention, promising to address climate change. Believe it or not, the USA is still a signatory. It needs a 2/3 Senate majority to leave. 29 conferences of parties, COPs, later, and the parts per million have now risen to 430 parts per million. And so has planet Earth's heat. COP30 is crucial for the party negotiators to get agreement from each nation state, especially those most responsible for global warming. These are the highly industrialized countries of Europe, North America, and Japan. They need to reduce their emissions drastically and pay for the damage they have done to the planet during the past 80 years especially. The more than 400 climate scientists gathered in the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change are warning us that without drastic action, future generations are doomed.
The poor are suffering already in Africa, which is the hottest continent. In Zimbabwe, droughts and acute food shortages. In Kenya and Mozambique, floods. In South Africa, over 400 lives were lost and houses ruined by severe floods. Across the oceans to the Pacific Islanders, the sea is swallowing up hectares of arable land. In Nepal, sides of mountains have detached to bury villagers alive. Will the negotiators at COP30 hear the cry of the poor? Will the rich nations honor their climate debt by increasing their nationally determined contributions to mitigate climate change and reverse the parts per million to start cooling the planet? Will they increase their financial contributions to pay for the restoration of mangroves along the coast of Mozambique, Tanzania, and Kenya, or to build walls to keep the sea out of Pacific islands, as the Dutch did in the past centuries, or to replant vegetation on denuded slopes in mountainous countries? How can we organize to strengthen the negotiators for the poor nations to make the rich nations increase their nationally determined contributions towards decreasing the parts per million and fulfill their financial obligation to the poor nations to have funds to increase their mitigation and adaptation needs? Our God hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be our God. Over to you, Luke, to close this session for us.
Our God hears the cry of the poor. Blessed be our God. our God, hear us, the cry of the poor. Blessed be our God.
Thank you, Luke. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Caroline, Marilyn, and Luke. That was a very powerful and at the same time emotional presentation from you that leaves us to continue meditating, evaluating, and asking ourselves questions of what we can do as individual women. And so at this point, I want to call upon Amy to introduce to us our guest speaker. Amy, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. Caroline, Marilyn, and Luke, what a beautiful presentation. I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude. However, now it is my humble pleasure to introduce our special guest speaker. Her name is Kathleen Zagara Delgado. As we mentioned at the beginning of the program, she is the director of God's Climate Institute, a lawyer with a master's degree in constitutional law and human rights for the National University of San Marcos. She's a consultant advisor on sustainable development for 10 years for government institutions, businesses, and international cooperation agencies. Specialist in ecological economics, studies in sustainable development on behalf of the University of Brazil. And she has published sustainable development and circular economy, environmental law, and abroad. Please have a warm welcome for Kath.
Thank you very much, Amy. Well, first, a big greeting to each of one of you. I appreciate the invitation to Grail in the person of Amy, and to all those behind the beautiful group of people. It's an honor for me to speak in the face of different sisters from different countries around the world. My presentation is about female leaderships and climate, from vulnerability to transformation. This represents the enormous challenge of connecting the current climate crisis from a scientific perspective, objective data, and our roles in a more sustainable planet. In this, thank you. In this regard, I would like to outline two ideas. First, we are in the context of COP30 in Brazil, in Belém do Pará, Brazil. The focus will be on discussing climate change supported by solutions from the heart of the Amazon. This will allow us to evaluate the next steps to take 10 years after the Paris Agreement and Sustainable Development Goals. Second, analyze where we can empower female leaderships, understanding that objective interest when we approach the relationship between human being and nature through our ethical connection with creation. I will start by saying that the biggest mistake is to believe we live in disconnected world where economic activities and their environmental and social consequences are unrelated. We must accept this complicated reality that connects production systems, people, enterprises, but also connect us to the physical earth in an unprecedented way. If everything is connected, interpreting the world's geopolitics is essential to understanding that post-pandemic life required us to transform the obsolete economic model based on linear indicators to disdain production systems that use fossil fuels, to abandon power struggles using war, and to prioritize immediate profit over human dignity. We must ask ourselves, what is our relationship with nature? Is it one of debt or care? Do we preserve this biocapacity or deplete its goods and service necessary for our life and survival? The sixth report of the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, IPCC, has shown us that the commitments made by states are insufficient and that climate policies need to be updated to reduce greenhouse gases and foster resilience. Along the same lines, it clearly and forcefully highlights the greater vulnerability of women and girls to the impacts of climate change, especially in rural, coastal, or indigenous contexts. Women and girls represent people displaced by climate change, exactly 80%. Die 14 times more than men in the event of catastrophes. They are disproportionately affected to the intersection of the climate crisis with pre-existing socioeconomic and gender inequalities, since historical times. For example, restrict rights, lesser voice in decision-making. According to international law and climate change specialist Susan Borras, the impacts of climate change place a significant psychological burden on women, especially those living in poor communities. Power structures and relations lead to greater vulnerability to extreme weather events and climate change-related disasters. This structural vulnerability increases when women and girls become climate migrants. But what is the challenge for women's leadership in climate action at COP30? The great challenge is to transform the rhetoric of women's sensitivity into tangible and binding political and financial actions that empower women not only as victims, but as agents of change. This translates into achieve the full, equal, and meaningful participation of women at the negotiation tables where critical climate decisions are made. 2, the challenge for women's leadership is to ensure that energy and economic transition create green jobs for women, combat occupational segregation, and ensure that new policies do not marginalize women in traditional sectors. 3, with COP30 being held in the Amazon, there is an expectation that the role of indigenous women and women from traditional communities will be highlighted. The challenge is to move from mere recognition to integration of their ancestral knowledge into national and international policies. For example, land use, biodiversity conservation, and climate action. 4. Women and environmental defenders, especially in Latin America, face a high risk of violence. The great challenge is to protect and support their leadership. I am a Peruvian lawyer and researcher, but above all, a defender of nature's 10 years. This advocacy led me to see the up close when I was 24 years old and seeking to save of Peru's most important nature reserves. Is the photo, this. In Latin America, 2,000 environmental defenders have died by 2024. 16% of whom were women. It's the truth that I could have been one of them. In this context, pursuit of my environmental defense and female leadership, I have come to understand that change is not enough. To declare, we must implement it. The answer then emerges in a complex way, translate into our relation with creation, contemplated beyond a utility but a life interconnected in harmony and reciprocity. It means striving for an ethics of care as guardian of creation. The logic inspired me to form the God's Climate Institute to safeguard the Creator's climate holistically. I believe women are a crucial moment to lead climate action, transforming vulnerability into a powerful and deep model. For me, it's now or never. Let's just do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. Thank you for that incredible presentation. And I think everybody in this meeting agrees with me that this is a very transformative, educative, and informative presentation from Kathleen. Yeah, you can imagine how many of such presentations we need. I actually like it when you're bringing out the role of women and female leadership as the key aspects when it comes to combating climate change, the issue of COP30 with its challenges. These are some of the things that are worrying us every day. And I agree that us being on this platform today, we will leave this place with maybe some reflective questions and maybe think of an action that we can do to help female leadership and climate from vulnerability to transformation. Thank you very much, Kathleen. And so after listening to all the three presenters, Caroline, Marilyn, and now Kathleen, at this point, I'm going to invite all the participants we've been listening tips, maybe of what they think. You can share this in the chat or you can raise your hand. It could be maybe something that has sparked you, something you want to add on, or maybe something you want to ask the speakers to clarify. So you're all welcome. We have about 15 minutes for this particular exercise. Feel free to either write in the chat or raise your hand, and we will give you time to ask your question or share what you think. You're welcome.
If I may go, thank you so much, Kathleen. That was a great presentation, and you brought a lot of awareness to how women are just displaced from climate action. It's not something that was on my radar, but it is now. And I just want to thank you so much for being here with us, because yes, you could have been in the line of fire with all those people. So I'm very grateful that you're here with us today to tell your story. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Chijuka. I just wanted to say thank you, just for everyone who's been presenting so far. Thank you for centering us and helping us to be in the right spirit to receive the messages that we were receiving. Kathleen, thank you so much for your work. Thank you so much for your courage. Thank you so much for your diligence. Thank you so much for just standing for everyone, and being there and there's a lot that goes into this kind of work, and the fear, of having your life really be on the line is kind of something that we don't always address when you're at the forefront of something that needs to be done that everybody's not on board with. And so I just, I will continue to pray for you, and I will pray for everyone around you. I will pray for your mission. I will pray for all of us to come together on this and really take a stand and make some changes to reflect the kind of world that we want to see in the future and that we want to give to the people of the future. So yeah, I'm just full of gratitude. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for this opportunity, because as a testimony, life testimony, I talked with Amy two couple days ago, talking about this experience, because I was very younger. The end my career is around 2 years, and I take the case because to involve the woman, exactly a woman of traditional communities. And this picture, is this photo is only document in the net, because the fight of criminal structure that involve the government, involve a structure or business to fight about meaning in contrast to conservation, right? Is a very hard situation, because in this moment I alone, and I try to talk about the important in woman, and I try to speak about the importance of female leadership. This person in this photo is a only person stayed with me in this moment, and I try to fight for the climate, throughout climate action, and fight for important natural reserve in Peru. But that's the point, is the role of women in this climate action is a hard experience for me, but I'm grateful this experience, That's it. That's it for this presentation today. But I am honored to stay with us in this moment and share some ideas about it. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Kathleen, for clarifying that and adding the input to what you had already presented. Yeah, we still open for questions, perspectives.
Marilyn, Marilyn has her hand raised.
Yes, Marilyn.
Okay. I work in a project that is training girls and young women to become leaders. But now you, Kath, are telling us how dangerous this job is, especially in relation to conservation. Is it fair for us to be training young women to be putting themselves in danger? Because I know it's very dangerous in Latin America, but it's also becoming increasingly dangerous in South Africa.
Is it okay if I speak?
Yeah.
All right. I used to work with a Marine, and he said there are like 7 P's. Is like prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance, right? So if we are aware that there is danger, if we are preparing young girls to lead, we should prepare them to lead in a world where there's danger, because the danger to young girls is never going to end, right? Is it safe for a young girl anywhere? Really? Even with all the protections in place, where is their safety? And I think that in facing these things, we are creating a safer world for the young girls of the future. So I don't know if not preparing them would be like, and also I think it's important, just being a young girl who was raised by the Grail, like I just feel like it's important to know what is worth protecting. You know, there are things that are worth protecting. There are things that as women we must protect for each other and with each other, because we protect ourselves, you know? I don't know if looking in a different direction would be meaningful for the future.
Sharon has her hand raised.
Yes, Sharon.
Okay, thank you so much. And again, thank you to all of you. It's a really wonderful presentation. Chizuka mentioned about working with young girls, and we do that somewhat here in the States with the working group on girls and the United Nations and the Indigenous Forum. However, I'd like to know if any of our 3 speakers have any further really concrete ideas of how can we work together internationally to make a difference.
Caroline has her hand raised.
Caro, go ahead.
You're muted.
Thank you so much. I think maybe just to respond to the last speaker, being in this space, or just being in a space where we're able to know who is doing what and where, and speaking about it helps us to really know what is happening around us. And I think starting to observe these key commemoration and commemorate such days, just like what we have done here, helps us to have a voice that is stronger, learning from those who are already doing the work, and just asking each other questions. I believe that having continuous conversations like these, and also knowing who's doing what and when, and seeing how we can come together in the different initiatives. If Marilyn is working with girls, how do we amplify the work that Marilyn is doing? How do we exchange that knowledge with other girls or other groups in other parts of the world? And I believe that is the way we can start speaking with a voice that is stronger. We need to organize ourselves and collaborate in so many ways, but also, I think most importantly, to ensure that our girls are equipped enough and able to go into these spaces where decisions are made. Because I think from Kathleen's presentation, one of the issues that we are largely facing is that on the decision-making tables, or where policies are made, where decisions are being made, they are made and women are largely excluded from such spaces. So it's also important for us to see that, to say, how do we ensure that our girls have enough information and are able to go in those spaces and speak the truth, speak to the realities, but also offer key recommendations that are needed to change the way we see things around the issue of climate change. So I think that is the way that we can start. We need to organize, we need to collaborate, but we need to teach and empower each other so that when we go there, we know what we are talking about and we are sure of what we are asking for. Thank you. Over to you, Sarah.
Thank you, Carol. I think that is a convincing response. Caroline, your hand is up again.
No, it's an old hand.
It's Marilyn's hand is up.
And Michelle.
Okay. Michelle, go ahead.
Thank you, all of you. It's so wonderful to be together with people who really care, and knowing that we are working together, we will be able to make a difference. I wanted to bring to the table another area within climate change that each one of us can operate on at every moment, and that is the food choices that we make. What kind of an agricultural system are we putting our trust in? Are we supporting when we buy imported food, when essentially it's not women who are nurturing anymore, but factories? I view that we as women have such a position of power. So helping girls realize this position of power we have, because still women are the ones who the world looks at for food, right? For growing food in healthy ways and for preparing food. It's when food is not related to human beings and it becomes something that's part of the marketplace where climate change continues. So I'm so happy that we are all here, and that with those kinds of choices that we can make a difference, and we can take those choices to the tables, to our neighborhoods. Eating locally is so important, and we can do that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. That was so touching. And from the way you're responding, it's coming from your heart. I can see that. Thank you so much. So, Amy, I don't know if we are still within our time or...
We're getting right there, but perhaps we should all turn our screens on for a group photo before too many more leave. And then we have, looks like Trina has one question, Luke has a question, and maybe we could get to those two questions and then do the group photo.
Okay, sure. So Trina and then Luke.
Hi there. I want to just tag on to the last comment about food. Very important is what right now what I'm really into is what we can learn from my beautiful connections with Sarah in Africa. She didn't say who she was, but she's from Kenya. And her mother has become my hero because her mother has saved seeds for 30 years of this wonderful amaranth and other things, and they compost and they do this kind of thing. And this is essential for climate change. Our type of agriculture and genetic engineering, which is put forth now as a way to save things, is not. It destroys the ability to the soil to absorb water, and it takes away the microorganisms in the soil that keep our soil alive and give nutritious food. So I close my comments with that one right now because I'm so glad for the comment.
Thank you so much.
Luke, you're on mute.
I'm not. Yes, I would like to affirm and all that the GLUNN and the program that is in the United Nations in March each year, we have had a number of our young women going to that over more than 20 years. And also the GLUNN newsletter is very good at encouraging us at the local level to continue to do the work. So please, I would encourage everyone, read that and let's take it to our local and national groups because that is a very helpful way for us to be involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if everyone could open up their Zoom windows so we can see all of your beautiful faces from around the world. We'd like to take a couple of screenshots so we could just have a video proof that you were here.
With a smile.
Smile. Everybody, these big, beautiful smiles. All right, we'll give everybody a couple of seconds. I see some people still closed. There's a good number, 42 people. We had about 46 in attendance, so we lost 4, but that's okay. We're still moving forward. All right. Everybody say cheese.
Queso.
Queso. Climate change. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. This has just been the most beautiful, humbling. I'm so grateful today. My heart is just full. My cup is overpouring with joy that all of us are here today. And that's it for me. I'll leave it to Sarah. And I think we have a closing song we can sing together. And until next time.
Sure, Amy. Thank you very much. I lost my network. I don't know what happened, but I want to be sure that Amy came in and took you through. So have we taken a group photo?
Yes.
Oh, so I missed the photo.
No, can you pop your face on real quick and I'll catch you?
Okay, Amy.
Come on, Sarah, with your beautiful outfit.
Here I am, Amy.
You're in the dark.
Let me put the light on.
There she is. All right. One last time for the group photo, ladies, and climate action. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now we have you too.
Okay. So
Sarah,
thank you.
Shall I share the screen?
Yep. Go ahead. Hit it, T. Rose. And you guys can join us in song, and this will be our closing. Thank you.
The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Praise for the sun, the bringer of day. He carries the light of the Lord in his race. The moon and the stars will light up the way unto your throne. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Pray for the wind that blows through the trees, the sea's mighty storms, the gentlest breeze. They blow where they will, they blow where they please, to please the Lord. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and all creation is shouting for joy. Come dance in the forest, come play in the field, and sing, sing to the glory of the Lord. Sing, sing to the glory of the Lord.
Bravo. Bravo.
Ooh,
All right.
thank you. Thank you. A beautiful song.
Thank you so much, Tara, for being a wonderful host.
Okay, I'm going to turn us all off now. All right. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Bye.